Well, folks, welcome back to another card review. This one's going to be a bit shorter, but we do have the hero card for Hunter, Beast, Stalker, Tavish, coming in at 6 mana. Battlecry, discover and cast 2 improved secrets. We'll talk about what an improved secret is. It's also got a hero power, summon pet at 3 mana, summon an animal companion. So a hero power that always does 4 damage to your opponent's face. Get it, it's always Huffer, get it, it's a joke. But anyway, what's an improved secret? So let's take a look. We got an example. This actually captures all 5 of the improved secrets currently in standard format. Now, I don't know if they're doing every secret forever for wild format, if this is a limited pool of improved secrets. So that information may come out throughout the course of the day. But for now, this is the secret pool for standard that would be relevant for this particular review. So these are in some cases like double as good, twice as good, but in others sort of, but not really. So for instance, let's kick it off with Freezing Trap, right? It's one of the most iconic classic secrets. This one's going to have the same thing. It's going to bounce an enemy minion back, but instead of costing 2 more, it's going to cost 4 more, which is sort of twice as effective, but not really, because usually once something got bounced off a Freezing Trap and cost 2 more, it was rarely something your opponent was reasonably going to play again, at least in any sort of short-term, timely fashion. It was more about just denying that attack and removing whatever kind of threat you could. The 4 versus 2, it's an upside, but that's really 80% of the time like a Freezing Trap. Pack Tactics, on the other hand, you are just going to get 2 copies of the minion instead of a single copy, so that's, you know, an extra 3/3 laying around. Improved Open the Cages, you're going to get 2 animal companions instead of a single animal companion. Open the Cages isn't really the strongest secret as far as I'm concerned. Often a little awkward to get off. Explosive Trap is not doubling. It's just going to deal 3 instead of 2. I guess maybe they decided 4 was too strong, so it's only going to deal 3. I mean, that's still a really good secret, I think. We'll clear a lot of boards out at 3 health. And then Snake Trap is going to summon 2/2 snakes instead of 1/1 snakes, which again is technically doubled, but I don't really think that's that crazy powerful. So, you know, often you're going to spend 6 mana here and you're going to get like a couple 3/3s, like 6/6 in stats average, maybe like 3 damage to all enemies average. So a board clear and 6/6 in stats for 6 mana. That's okay, but you know, only if these secrets are triggered, and sometimes that's going to take a bit. So I'm actually afraid this Battlecry feels not quite impactful enough for me. I really wanted to like Tavish here, and I was pretty excited about this when I first saw it, but as I really run through the secret results, like they're sort of delayed. They're not that much better than normal secrets. It's kind of just like putting 2 secrets into play for 6 mana. I mean, I don't want to downplay them too much, but am I crazy? Is this just a little underwhelming as far as the immediate impact of these secrets? And then for the hero power, like, yeah, I mean, getting an animal companion on a reliable every turn button basis is fine. It's 3 mana, which is the same as animal companion. I kind of wish it were 2 to make it feel a little more efficient. I guess they wanted to go for flavor to keep it 3 mana. But even that's not like an outrageously good result as far as I'm concerned. It's repetitive and, you know, you get it every turn. It's damage and threat and stuff, but I'm left a little wanting here when I see this Tavish, which I was hoping to be very excited about. So I'm not sure the immediate impact is all that great from the improved secrets. The reliability and outside of this upside of this hero power, in some cases, I think you might want normal Hunter hero power because you're getting 2 every turn as opposed to maybe 4 every 3 turns. Like that's kind of more damage output on the base one. If you have ways to support Leok, I guess it's better. Misha is a fine stat stick there, but not particularly useful. So all in all, man, I don't know. Like, I guess there are some secret quests. Well, you can't run this with Quest Hunter, can you? I guess you can technically upgrade this hero power with Quest Hunter, but that's kind of all out of whack and out of order, so that doesn't make sense. So I don't think a normal Quest Hunter would like this better than just the damage output hero power. I mean, that's fun. We'll do that, but that's not going to be good, I don't think. And then like Face Hunters, is this really going to be better than just the reach of the normal hero power? I don't think so. So I'm not sure who runs this or why. Man, I'm a little disillusioned here by Tavish. Talk me into liking this card, guys. I'm kind of disappointed here with my first takes on Tavish. Oh, hey, so while I was recording that, they actually revealed or pseudo revealed another card here. This isn't the actual card, but we're going to get an ice trap, it looks like. And this is the improved version for Tavish. It's a secret that reads, when your opponent casts a spell, return it to their hand instead. It costs 2 more. So this is basically counter spell / freezing trap for spells instead of for minions. And actually seems really good. Unlike Counterspell, it's not gone forever, but you still stall it out for a turn and make it cost a lot more. I do think this improves Tavish a little. It's still not making Tavish crazy to me, but I like that there's some spell counterplay available, and you're very often going to get offered this. So that's a slight upside to Tavish. Also, we assume the base version of this is probably going to make the spell cost 1 more instead of 2 more, which I think will still be good, but I'll wait for official word to officially review this card. For now, we're just talking about it in context of Tavish. So I do think this helps Tavish a little. I think there's a pretty good secret which helps improve the pool, because some of the other ones were like too reliant on having minions on board and stuff, and this one's just kind of generally good and could really try to disrupt your opponent more so and from hand, as opposed to like these on board sort of shenanigans. So it helps a little, but I still don't totally love Tavish. Alrighty, so next up here we have Brasswing, big ol' 8 mana, 9/7 dragon. Reads, at the end of your turn, deal 2 damage to all enemies, honorable kill, restore 4 health to your heroes. This is kind of like Baron Geddon and Rancor had a baby of sorts, although this does just affect enemies, not your own board. And of course, it has to be exactly 2 health that this damage deals if you want to get the healing, unlike Rancor, for instance, which can hit 1 health stuff. Beyond that, if this is not armor, it's health, right? So you have to actually have taken some damage for this to be playable. Now, I don't think that's going to be a problem, since this is an 8 mana card. If you're playing from behind and getting to 8 mana, you've probably taken some chip damage along the way. But that also makes this card, I think, really tough. Essentially, you have to have this kind of perfect scenario board state to line up this Brasswing late in the game. And there are decks out there who summon tutus, right? There's like Treants, like, oh, okay, they're just going to summon another wave of Treants or Glowfly Swarms or whatever. And like, yeah, this lines up really, really well exactly against those. It's a board clear, a little chip face damage, and maybe a big heal. But at the same time, there's not that many board states that are going to line up perfectly, because this is honorable kill. It's not going to work against 1/1s. If your opponent has 3 health stuff, I guess you're screwed, because you're not healing at all. So, I think this card's going to end up looking pretty awkward in most board states, and it's going to kind of just be chilling in hand until turn 8, and then even after turn 8, it's like, oh god, when am I going to play this Brasswing exactly? And then theoretically, this does have the 9 attack that can honorable kill as well. It's like, I mean, how often is that going to line up for that little extra 4 health? I mean, that's a bonus, probably not really that important to the card. So, in essence, this seems kind of just really high friction and awkward to use. I don't know when you're going to find good moments to play this. Like, yeah, this could be a pretty solid dragon and like a N'Zoth build if you just need like 1 dragon tossed in there. I'd almost rather have Plagued Protodrake, but that will rotate before this. So like, that's an out. Well, I guess actually N'Zoth will rotate at the same time as Plagued Protodrake, so no, that doesn't matter. So like, maybe there's something there, but ultimately, I mean, this feels like, like a good arena card. Like, you plop down that big threat in arena. In standard, I think Paladin has more reactive, more immediate 8 health stuff that lines up better against other board states. Like, sometimes just dropping that Libram of Hope is going to do the same thing as Brasswing, but reliably, often cheaper. Now, again, like, Libram will rotate prior to Brasswing, but does this really fill in those gaps? Will there just be other things Paladin does way better? I think so. I think this falls in a weird gap where, although it has a big effect, it's way better than other stuff, it's just kind of awkward. And I'd rather have a Rancor most of the time, right? Because Rancor's cheap. You can flex it into a turn. You can do other stuff alongside it that better fits situations. You can play Lord Barov with it. You can't play Barov here with Brasswing unless you have a coin. So, it's like lining, and even if you did, it wouldn't work. It would clear stuff, but it wouldn't heal. So, like, there's all these little awkward situations where I think other cards just solve these problems better than Brasswing. And despite how big and cool and awesome it looks, like, I love cards like this, I just think it's going to be too awkward to use. So next up here, let's talk about Mass Polymorph for Mage. This is a 7 mana arcane spell that transforms all minions into 1/1 sheep. So this is kind of like that big Kazakus potion we had way back in the day, which would sometimes be really important to like transform those crazy res priest boards and stuff, remove all those big minions and death rattles. But this one you can run in your deck and at 7 mana. Now that said, I don't think this card lines up nearly as well in modern Hearthstone metas as it would have in the past. There aren't as many of those like really big effect-driven boards or keyword-driven boards like death rattles. Nowadays, people are building a board much earlier and just leveraging that for victory, or sometimes just not really relying on minions much at all and winning through just over-the-top damage or effect damage. There are still some like Anaconda boards can hit, and those are like really big and sometimes hard to deal with just like pure damage removal like a Flame Strike. I'd say 95% of boards you're better off actually with a Flame Strike than something like Mass Polymorph, because it's probably going to clear the board and not leave your opponent with all of these 1/1 sheep, which are still kind of threatening, right? Like they can still get buffed, they can still hit you. So it's almost a risk in some ways to leave these minions behind. So I'd say most metas, even today, Flame Strike, particularly the buff version at 5 damage, is probably going to be better. I think there's only a few scenarios where Mass Polymorph will feel significantly better. Even if you're like trying to disrupt a res pool or something by putting sheep in it, it's pretty late in the game to be doing that. Like the priest might already be leveraging a lot of those death rattles enough to gain an advantage. So to me, this is another card that's just like a little too late and a little too demanding from a perfect board state conditionality. Plus, if you're trying to run this in like the auto cast big spell mage stuff that we talked about yesterday with like the new hero card and the objective, you're often going to be summoning your own minions, and this affects, of course, your side of the board as well. So I don't think you want this like being randomly casted off of a Varden, because you might summon your big thing first, and then whoops, I turned my stuff into sheeps. So I don't even know if this goes in the big spell mage package either. So for me, like, I think it's just going to end up being too slow for what it does, and just more distinct removal, or frankly stall like Frost Novas and stuff, where you're spending less mana but still maybe advancing some sort of other game plan. I think both of those will probably fit better into most decks than Mass Polymorph. This isn't a terrible card, so if they've that like crazy big effect meta, death rattle meta, divine shield meta, whatever it is, shows up, and a card like this could fit perfectly into that. But I think that's less likely than ever before. Hasn't probably been something we've seen in a while. There's only one deck currently that really makes sense there. So for me, another card that's just a little too high cost for this sort of effect to be competitive in Modern Hearthstone. Tavish is a 3-star card. I gave him 2 until I saw that improved Ice Trap. I bumped it up to 3. I'm still hesitant, but I do think that's a pretty good secret that helps a lot. And of course, there can always be more in the future as well. Brasswing is a 2-star card. Mass Polymorph is a 2-star card. So yeah, that's it for this review. I bet some people are going to be upset that I gave these cards 2 stars. Let me know. I'm curious to hear why you think they'll fit better than I do. They seem just a hair too late game to me to really make an impact, or conditional, situational maybe, whatever it is. Share all those thoughts and more in the comments below. Always curious to hear everybody's takes down there. Thanks as always for watching. Stay tuned for another review. I think later tonight we have a bunch of cards hitting. This one was a little smaller, but some big stuff tonight. So see you then. Thanks for watching, and until next time, game on.